Alright, so today we're going to talk about squatting and elbow pain, benching and elbow pain, because unfortunately it's something that happens all too frequently with guys that are super strong. Can you explain what you got going on just a little bit here?
Yeah, when I'm squatting, I have my arms in and tight, keep my back tight, keep my chest out, and just really wrecks my elbows. When it starts to flare up, it's just here, both arms.
Yep.
The left worse. Starts here, but when it gets bad like it is today, it wraps the entire elbow. It hurts in my shoulder. You can almost draw a line from the shoulder to where it hurts in the elbow, and then it even bothers my wrist.
Yep.
This would be the place of the least amount of pain.
Okay.
But here and here is just, it's really bad.
So a lot of times what people assume is, you know, my elbow hurts, I've got an elbow problem. And a lot of times what it is, you guys are so strong and you're so kind of internally rotated. Every time you get under the squat bar and you have to try and force that external rotation, chews up the shoulder, but if you don't have the shoulder rotation to get in the right position, it chews up your elbow. So one of the best things that you can do, check their shoulder rotation. I can actually demonstrate that here real quick, but generally the fix is static stretching, try and get it, pecs, lats, all those big internal rotators loosened up. So we open things up. It's going to make it easier to get under the squat bar. It's going to put less pressure on your elbow. So whether it's static stretching, soft tissue work with a lacrosse ball, foam roller, things of that nature, they're going to make a big difference. But just for fun, let's just check out your shoulder rotation and see how it looks. So real simple. You know, all I try and do, lock down his scapula here, and then just try and get an idea of how much internal rotation he has, which as you guys can tell isn't a whole bunch. And then we check external rotation, because this is what you need to squat properly to get your elbow underneath the bar, get your shoulders and hands in the right position. You can tell you just don't have a ton. Yeah. So for like a normal shoulder, a non-powerlifting shoulder, you want 180 degrees of rotation. You're sitting at about 40, 50, I don't know, not enough, right, basically. So I would just throw a hand grenade on that, man. Foam roll it whenever you can, static stretch it whenever you can. I'll give you some specific stuff to try and, you know, just kind of get you in a better position when you squat. But it's really common and it's something that we see all the time. So, you know, it's probably going to be a pretty easy fix. Again, you guys, the kind of weights you throw around, I never say injury-free, but you know, less injured, more injury resistant, just so you can go out and train the way that you want. So I'm just going to show like just some basic shoulder like prehab type exercises. You know, you can start off in this kind of 10 and 2 position here with the thumbs up, and all you're going to have him do is just lift their hands up maybe an inch or two off the ground, and in a perfect world they're kind of sliding their shoulder blades down. So he lifts and he gets a little bit of depression through his shoulder blades, because a lot of times low traps are really, really weak. It's one of those little muscle groups you don't think about, but it makes a huge difference as far as your stability and your strength goes. How's that feel right now?
Hard.
Yeah, exactly. And how much did you bench today?
615.
Yeah, 615, and you know, he's struggling pulling his arms off the ground. You know, so you can go here, 10 and 2 position, you can come out here, more of like a 9 and 3, and you get elbows as straight as they can. And then in this case, just think about trying to squeeze the shoulder blades back together. And again, when they're on the floor, it's a lot harder than doing it on, say, an incline bench or something like that, because they can't get any momentum. They've really got to kind of isolate things out. But again, 615 pounds, you should be able to do 1,000 of these, right? Yeah. But little stuff like this makes a huge difference as far as your stability goes. So generally we'll do 8 to 10 each position, 10 and 2, 9 and 3, and then bring him down to 8 and 4. And this, kind of in this position, you try and drive that shoulder external rotation. So really trying to get the thumbs up as much as they can, and then same thing, squeeze shoulder blades back. It's hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not the sexiest thing to do. It's not as cool as benching 615, but you know, if we do this for a couple weeks, couple months, and then all of a sudden he's benching 650, 660, I'll take a little bit of credit for that. So to kind of give you guys an idea, kind of across the board, all these guys, you know, don't have the shoulder rotation that they need, which is causing shoulder problems, elbow problems. I've seen more elbow problems today than I have in the last year in my gym. Just because, again, you guys are strong. There are certain things that make you good at what you do. We just need to rein it back just enough to try and get these guys feeling better and healthy so they can train the way that they want. Brian Schwab, he's sitting maybe at 30, 40 degrees of shoulder rotation. He doesn't have a ton. Joe's the same. Joe's a little interesting because in his case, his upper back and his rotator cuff are really, really weak. I think he said yesterday his best bench press is 650 pounds. I was absolutely crushing him yesterday with a 10-pound weight, doing some internal and external rotations to try and get his rotator cuff stronger. So in that case, if you get those stabilizing muscles stronger, those little guys, that allows your big guys to do more work. I told Joe, if we really address this and hammer it hard for the next couple months, he could see a massive increase, maybe 40, 50 pounds in his bench press, just by addressing those little muscles and getting them stronger. So it's one of those things where, you know, you guys are moving ridiculous weight. I bet if you row, you use ridiculous amount of weight on dumbbell rows, chest supported rows, that sort of thing. But sometimes it's the little muscles that are lacking and that are holding you back. So.